I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. It's brought to you by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, call us at 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization or an individual who would like to support the channel, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments to be run on the channel. This is the Thursday program for January 14th, 2021, DCTV Daily News. This is an interesting report from Complete Colorado, page 2, regarding the relationship between government and the population they are supposed to represent in these crazy times. The headline is Monument Trustees Unanimously Approve Resolution Against Polis's Overreach Arbitrary Orders. On Monday evening, the Town of Monument Board of Trustees, the BOT, held a workshop and public hearing on a resolution, quote, reasserting the rights of the Town of Monument and its residents and condemning the unconstitutional limitations imposed upon their freedoms by the Governor of Colorado, end quote. The mostly symbolic resolution says that Governor Polis's various executive orders, quote, altered restrictions without regard to their purpose of health and safety and for his own political interests, thus demonstrating that the limitations on speech did not meet the limited requirement of protecting the health and safety of the public, end quote. The resolution passed on a unanimous vote of 7-0. The BOT pointed to Polis's unilateral order to move counties from level red to level orange based only on his assessment of the declining case numbers as indicative of the arbitrary nature of his executive orders. The BOT said that it, quote, will not abide by any executive orders limiting attendance of and free speech at public meetings within the town. The resolution calls on Governor Polis to prevent harm to businesses by reclassifying all businesses as essential, saying, quote, the citizens of Monument have a right to work and provide for their families. Emphasis is in the original. What we're doing is challenging every citizen to take responsibility upon themselves for their own protection, said Trustee Ron Stevens. If you know you're at high risk, then order your food online or do whatever you need to do online. And if you are less of a risk, then you can be a little more free. But the point here is that you must take responsibility. But the BOT backed off the idea of making Monument a, quote, sanctuary city against COVID-19 restrictions and acknowledged that state authorities, quote, will attempt to pressure businesses to comply and may threaten their livelihoods, and that the town cannot prevent state enforcement actions. The BOT left it up to businesses and customers to determine for themselves how they will comply with state mandates and urged patrons to exercise their own best judgment in deciding how or when to patronize local businesses, saying that they should, quote, feel free to walk away if they do not feel safe based on their underlying health conditions. During the public hearing, El Paso County Commissioner Holly Williams addressed the BOT about the tension between state and county health departments. Quote, if we disagree with our own local Board of Health as county commissioners, we can have them replaced with the state Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, said Williams. So I'm sure we're getting the better end of the deal here with our own local Department of Health. Speaking with Complete Colorado on Tuesday about the arbitrariness of the state's COVID-19 response, Williams said, quote, when the governor took everyone from level red to level orange, businesses in El Paso County lost their multi-sector variances that had been granted previously. For example, the Great Wolf Lodge has a variance, but the Broadmoor doesn't. We're back to applying for variances for individual businesses instead of grouping like businesses together. That's frustrating. There's a lot of arbitrary things going on, Williams continued. There was consensus on the BOT that it is time to take a stand, including potential legal action to rein in the governor. Quote, I'm in agreement with Trustee Mitch LeKind that we're declaring the governor's actions completely unconstitutional, said Stevens. Hopefully they'll let us be and just say, oh, that's just Monument, and let it go. But if it comes down to it, I think we have to be prepared for taking legal action because I believe the Constitution is behind us. Quote, I wanted to make clear that the 14th Amendment, Section 1, was called out because, as I said in the last meeting, the governor is acting like a tyrant in his execution of business closures throughout the state and putting people out of business and out of work and unable to feed their families, said LeKind. As the world remains in a crisis mode as perpetuated by both governments and other agencies, days, fear is prevalent, but that's never the answer or reaction to making a good, sound decision for your future. So fear not, as was said many times in a familiar book, and it seems like the best suggestion as we move through 2021. Fear not. And now let's take a look at the local weather. There might actually be some snow in the forecast at the beginning of next week. So today's weather, mostly sunny with a high near around 39 degrees, but those north-northwest winds at 10 to 15 miles with gusts to 25 make it feel even colder. For tonight, mostly clear and a low around 18 degrees with north winds around 10 miles an hour. For Friday, sunny and a high near 42 degrees. Again, the north-northeast winds at 10 to 15 miles and gusts to 30 are going to make it for feeling much colder on Friday. And Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 23. And those north-northeast winds remain at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the weekend, Saturday, sunny with a high near 42 degrees with north winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, kicking up to 10 to 15 miles an hour, and again, gusts to 25 for Saturday night, mostly clear and a low around 22. For Sunday, sunny and a high near 45, with Sunday night partly cloudy and a low around 24. Then Monday, a holiday here at the courthouse where the studio is located. It's Martin Luther King Day. There's a slight chance of snow showers after 11 a.m. with partly sunny skies and a high near 39. For Monday night, the slight chance of snow showers continues after 11 p.m. with partly cloudy skies and a low around 19. And then and again on Tuesday, we're looking for another chance of snow showers with partly sunny skies and a high near 34. Tuesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 17. And now, back to our news. And on the national and Colorado level of news, it seems Pelosi demands Congress go through metal detectors to vote, and Boebert calls her bluff. That's reported in Colorado Peak Politics. Just in time for impeachment votes, Speaker Nancy Pelosi had metal detectors erected at the entrance to the House chamber to impede members of Congress on their way in to vote. Democrats claim it's a security precaution in light of last week's, quote, riot. Total bunk considering metal detectors are at all Capitol's main entrances failed to stop the marauders. A side note that research that people were allowed in, gates opened, and no force stopping the initial wave of whomever went into the Capitol building first. It's controversial, but there are so many camera views on what happened, and the FBI is going through data from tips like never seen before. So back to our elected officials working in the People's House. Quote, technically, no police officer can interfere with a member of Congress on their way to a vote, which is why police had to let Colorado's U.S. Representative Lauren Boebert proceed after she failed to yield her purse for a search when it tripped the metal detector alarm. Colorado media turned it into a major incident, reporting that it must have been her cell phone, iPad, keys, lipstick, jewelry, coins, pen, Altoids, gun that set off the metal detector. It was a standoff between Boebert and police for several nerve-wracking minutes. Then, of course, Capitol Hill police had to let the Congresswoman proceed into chambers where she and the rest of Colorado's Republican delegation voted against a resolution calling for President Trump to be removed from office before his term actually ends in just a few days. Louisiana Representative Steve Scalise, the number 2 House Republican, said Tuesday that the metal detectors were designed to impede lawmakers from voting and were not discussed with GOP leaders ahead of time. Several lawmakers simply walked around the devices. Texas Representative Louis Gohmert said, quote, "You can't stop me. I'm on my way to a vote." Meanwhile, Pelosi has the National Guard camped out across the Capitol for the impeachment vote. The U.S. Capitol is now so militarized, there are 3 times the number of troops there than in Iraq and Afghanistan combined, reported Fox News. We continue to be on high news alert for the state capitals and any other types of false flag events that could be triggers. Warnings and alerts could be the best prevention for any possible chaotic situation to be avoided. And it's official. On Wednesday, Colorado got snubbed, according to local paper reports, by not being awarded the headquarter location for the all-new Space Force Command Center. Drum roll, please. The Air Force has selected the Army's Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama, as its preferred location for the headquarters of its new Space Command. Governor Kay Ivey and U.S. Senator Richard Shelby were very pleased. The governor is proud to announce that Huntsville's Redstone region is set to house the headquarters, a statement said, reported in the AL.com website from which this report came. This morning, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Installations Bob Moriarty called Governor Ivey to inform her of Secretary Barbara Barrett's Space Command headquarters preferred candidate basing decision. The Alabama governor was thrilled. This is outstanding news not only for our state, but also for the Air Force. Our state has long provided exceptional support for our military and their families, as well as a rich and storied history when it comes to space exploration, Ivy said. This combination only enhances the outstanding relationships we have with the 65 diverse federal agencies on Redstone Arsenal, not to mention the growing presence of the FBI and other federal installations. The bottom line is simple. The Redstone region is the most natural choice to become home to such an important mission for our country. And now, you may not think of Alabama as a space center, but they reported, quote, "This is a project that will have long generational legs for our community." Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle said, "It's the right decision to come to Huntsville. We have done space. We are space. We have done space since the 1950s. We have the Army Aviation Command here. We have Space and Missile Command here. We have the Missile Defense Agency here. All of it ties in to a workforce that is attuned to working in space and working with our space assets. I think it's going to be a great thing for our community for years to come." Meanwhile, back here in Colorado, a seething governor blames everything on Trump, as has become the trite custom these past few years. The command was established in the Air Force in 2019, and the search for a permanent headquarters began in 2020. Communities across the country competed. They were ranked according to established criteria related to the command's mission, room to grow, and add infrastructure. That could be a problem in Colorado Springs, where this was going to be located if they did get it, and community support and costs to the Department of Defense. Again, Colorado Springs is probably more pricey than Huntsville, Alabama. 24 states officially went after the command headquarters, and finalists included Albuquerque, New Mexico, Bellevue, Kansas, Cape Canaveral, Florida, Colorado Springs, Colorado, and San Antonio, Texas. Congratulations to Alabama, and we wish them well on the newest frontier for our defense of the United States of America and indeed our world. And do you think a full disclosure is in store for 2021? At this point, I would not count anything out. And today's High Canyon Country happenings and notices. An update on how 2020 looked for Region 9 and our economic scene in the five counties in southwest Colorado. As reported at the DCTV meeting this month, that Region 9 raised $3.7 million in new loan capital in 2020 and managed grant programs for $1.5 million for towns and counties. That went to 234 different businesses, and distributed also 38 low-interest loans, just under a total of about $240,000. The dollars are great, but the connection with the people is the best part of it, Heather Otter said. CED's updates, priority projects for the next cycle of CDAPs, are in the work, and they will be making a presentation to DCTV, Region 9 will, after working with the committees to develop what the County Development Action programs are going to be looking like for the next 2 to 3 years. And the recent application process for a community solar project in Dolores County in conjunction with Montezuma will be an excellent project. We'll have more on that next month, and things with a good footprint over the community is what they are looking to identify. Also, at the recent DCTV meeting, the announcement that HHH Farms LLC of Dove Creek, Dolores County, has purchased the old sunflower plant in the DCTV Weber Business Park, and they have plans to process hemp at that location. There will be dryers and the extraction processing, with an initial 2 new full-time employees and an opportunity for several more with their build-out in the coming years. The group had grown 27 acres of hemp last year and are registered to grow 70 acres in 2021, providing additional part-time work through that growing season. And we look forward to their success in our community. To catch this program online, currently visit our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, or also on YouTube. Both you can follow and subscribe to easily and join in on the conversation. Again, this is your local community TV station, so if you have something that you would like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com, or call the station 970-677-4119. Thank you for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. If you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I am Kendra Cook. Be well and keep thinking for yourself.